I've been mentoring and training massage therapists for going on, I'd say like 2 years now. And the number one thing they shy away from is the idea of critical thinking in the role of solving problems. Some are intimidated by it and try to avoid having to do it by using the cop-out statement, I'm not legally allowed to diagnose in the scope of my license, so I avoid doing it to stay compliant. This one I get, and it is often the fault of the entire profession being too focused on providing service-based treatments instead of solution-based ones that more people need. Others say they don't even need to do it because they can just sense intuitively what is going on with the client once they start working on them. If you've been listening to this podcast over the years, you know exactly what I think of that kind of bullshit. One thing we must all agree on is the idea that we must know exactly what a problem is before we can ever expect to fix it. In this episode, I dive into the importance of slowing down, asking questions, using your brain, and having a clear plan before you ever begin any treatment. I hope you enjoy the show and realize how important critical thinking really is. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast, where we teach self-employed massage therapists a new treatment system that focuses on working smarter, not harder, allowing them to cut the treatment times by 50% so they can stay healthy and help more people get out of pain. Dr. Matt Maggio here. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the show. Let's jump right into it. Critical thinking, the most important question you must ask and answer before ever putting your hands on a client for treatment is why? Why are they having pain? Why is that muscle tight? Why is that muscle weak? Why is there inflammation? You must answer all these questions before ever getting in there and doing any treatment. But what I've learned, I guess I was thinking about it today, about 2 years ago is when I really started going all in and training massage therapists in my methods called the Peak Method. And I've mentored and trained and had lots of people. I've lost track of how many people have gone through the system and learned it. And the biggest thing that people fight me on and they shy away from is the idea of critical thinking and problem solving. Like, they don't want to do it. They're scared of it. They avoid it. And they just want to jump right into the treatment. I understand we're manual therapists. We want to use our hands. We want to get in there and treat and do what we do best, but there's no critical thinking and actually being able to solve the problem. And I always say, how in the hell can you solve a problem if you don't know what it is in the first place? So I'm going to get a little ranty. I do that every once in a while. I think I use this as my own therapy about some of the shit that I see out there in the world. I see more of this dumb shit on Instagram more than anything. I really try to stay off Instagram. I post some stuff on there, but there's a lot of just crazy shit on there I see from massage therapists sharing all this stuff that they do, and it's just like complete nonsense and bullshit. But I digress. I'm actually way more active on LinkedIn. I feel it's a better professional vibe, and less crazy people. There's still crazy people on there. There's crazy people everywhere. But what I really learned over the last 2 years was massage therapists, they really didn't learn shit in school about critical thinking. Now, some people are like, well, I had a different program. It was good. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it was okay. But the problem is a lot of those schools, they're not really teaching you how to think critically. They're teaching you how to pass the boards, because at the end of the day, they need you to get through and pass the boards. And they don't really dive into a lot of critical thinking. Some of you might have been lucky and had a good teacher there that might have shared some more critical thinking stuff, but it's not even close to what you need. It might be a couple, 20, 40 hours, but what you need is like hundreds and hundreds of hours of critical thinking and being able to figure it out. So it's not your fault that it isn't in there, and it's not really perpetuated that much in the system and the profession as a whole. So much is just stuck on like what that service stuff. I'll go over that a little bit later, but there's other people that completely shy away from it. They're like, well, in my scope of my practice, I'm not allowed to diagnose legally, so it doesn't matter if I even know what's going on, because legally I can't do that. And you wonder why you're taking a backseat to shitty chiropractors and physical therapists that are just glorified personal trainers they still take some time to figure out what's going on and take a thorough and accurate history, even though their treatment isn't great. It's not good at all. I've been very outspoken about that over the years, but they shy away from it. And that's giving your power away and being like, well, just because I can't do it, I'm not going to do it. It's like, that's bullshit. Your clients deserve better. You deserve better. You're not some mediocre bullshit practitioner just winging it. You need to think critically and really figure out the problems. And we all want to do it. I was like this when I first got in. I talked about on past episodes about when I took like active release technique. I thought it was amazing at first. And I was like, oh, it's cool. I just want to do a bunch of treatment, but I never knew what the fuck was going on. And then I'm doing a bunch of treatment, never getting real reproducible results and just struggling. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I thought this treatment was going to fix everything, but you got to figure out what's going on. You can't do it on the fly. Imagine like if you took your car to the mechanic and was having problems and they're like, yeah, fuck it. We're not going to run any tests. We're just going to start banging away on it. They start hitting it with a hammer and a pipe. I don't know what the fuck mechanics do, but they do all that stuff. And you'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you going to run some tests? The same thing should be happening for an injury. When someone comes in for an injury, you need to do tests. You need to do functional tests. You need to take a history. You need to know what the fuck's going on before you ever get in there and start poking around and trying to figure shit out on the fly. Another thing is everyone wants to skip steps. They want to find that magic shortcut, that one thing that's going to fix everything. I've talked about this at length. These people, they think the one treatment they do, the one technique, it's going to magically undo all the bullshit that these people come in with, all these complex problems. And they want that shortcut. Like, here's the one thing to do every single time your client comes in. It's going to guarantee to fix whatever problem they have. That's such bullshit. It's such short-sightedness. There's no shortcut. There's no magic fix. It's getting to the root cause of what's going on and finding that problem so you can actually fucking fix it. Yep, there goes my rantiness. Next thing that I see is so many people want to learn a treatment. They want to learn the treatment. They take 1 million different seminars. They're certified in everything. They're a 12th level Jedi master in whatever the fuck they're doing that week. And they're learning more and more treatment. They want more tools in their tool belt. I talked about this on past podcasts. Do you really need more tools? You need to sharpen the ones you have. What they don't have is a system. A system is key. And that's what I was talking about. I don't have a treatment. It's not a treatment. It's a system. And the system from start to finish, how to figure out exactly what's going on, asking the right questions, doing functional based tests, getting real data, real factual things that you can interpret and know exactly what's wrong with your clients. You can provide the best type of treatment that's safe, effective, and durable, and that actually fucking works. And then lastly, so many of us, well, not me, but so many of you out there that are struggling that reach out to me, you're stuck providing a service, not a solution. I always say at the end of the day, people need problem solved, and you can't solve a problem if you don't know what it is in the first place. So I get a lot of people that reach out. They might listen to the podcast. They might follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube. I don't know. They might have seen some articles I've written. I don't know. I'm everywhere. I always say if they don't know me, they can't flow me. I'm everywhere. But we get a lot of people that reach out and they're like, oh, I would love to do some training with you. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. My assistant, Jessie, she says we get these messages all the time. And what we've talked about is you have to go through the critical thinking modules first. You have to actually figure out what's going on, learn how to think critically, figure out problems. And that whole course is done online. It is approved for CEU credits and all that kind of stuff. But so many therapists reach out and they're like, well, I don't need to do that. I'm better off coming hands-on and learning that. I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here. You have to learn how to think critically. That's why you're struggling, because you're not solving problems. You're just winging it. You're spending an hour doing all sorts of stuff. You might do 10 different treatments in one session. You never know what's really working, and you're just spinning your tires in the mud, doing it all over again. So at the end of the day, the basis of what you have is your knowledge in critical thinking and solving problems. Another issue I end up seeing is not everyone, I guess that's being very biased, but a majority of people, especially soft tissue practitioners, they think that everything is a soft tissue problem. They completely ignore other issues in there, like massive inflammation, metabolic issues, damage to the joints, to the cartilage, to the tendons, to the disc. It's not just one thing. They don't live in just one bubble. And it's not going to be this magic thing. You're just going to fix this one muscle and they're going to be good to go. You have to manage that case and manage it on a complex type of level, especially when you're providing solutions and dealing with people that have been through a lot in failed care, have a lot of problems going on, understanding that the approach or the presentation of the treatment is very multifaceted, and there's a lot of components involved in that. And then another thing that I always want to try to tell people is, in order to go fast, you got to go slow. So like I said, I teach you to do 15, 20-minute treatment sessions, and most people reach out and they're like, well, that's complete bullshit. You can't get any work done, blah, 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 blah. I've talked about that a lot. Actually, a shorter treatment is more effective. You get better dosage as you go. I'm not going to continue to try to sit here and convince you that a 20-minute treatment is better than an hour treatment, because it is. It's actually better for you. It's better for the client, and it gets better results. But what I say, in order to go fast, you must go slow. And the slow part comes from the front end. Taking a thorough history, knowing exactly what questions there to ask the client about what's going on with their injury, processing that data, doing a functional evaluation. So we spend an hour, hour and a half with the client before we ever actually treat them. And we have a battle plan about what's going on. And we lay out that plan to fix them for good with sustainable results. So yeah, I earned that 15 or 20 minutes. And you know what? I get paid accordingly for doing that as well, because I'm providing a solution. And then the last thing I see, there's so many people out there that think just because they're booked up, they might see 20, 25 people a week and everyone loves them and thinks they're great, which is awesome. Your clients should like you and think that you're great. They think they got it. They think they know everything, and they're not being humble. Humble is very important, and understanding that there's always something to learn every day. I attack each day with something new to learn every single day. And when you think you got it, you think you got it all figured out, that's loser shit mentality, and you're never going to fucking grow. So understand, you got to become a problem solver. As shit's going to get real tight here these next couple of years. Money's getting tighter. People are tighter with what they're spending on. They're not going to waste it on bullshit where you're just providing a service. They want a solution for their problem. You need to be that problem solver, that solution provider. That's why I created all this, because I want conservative care to be better on the front end, because chiropractors and physical therapists sure as fuck aren't doing it. They're not getting good care to people. And then people that should be doing the good work, massage therapists like you listening to the podcast, don't want to use your fucking brain and figure out what problems are, and just want to go out there and do a bunch of treatment and then kind of wing it and see what happens. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. How about being consistent every single time and knowing exactly what the problem is, having a plan laid out to fix it for good? That sounds like a good option to me. The best way to start there is go grab my free training. I just revamped it again. It's version 2.0. We dive in a lot on the critical thinking part, being able to figure out what's going on, treatment examples, palpation, all sorts of stuff. I think it's better than any paid course you have out there, but that might just me being biased because I created it. But I've had a lot of people go through and they're like, this is some really good shit. Nobody's talking this way. And the idea of like actually treating smarter, not harder, shorter treatment times, but more effective is better for you, better for the client. And if you like the free training and you go through it and you decide you want to be the best of the best, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can be the best of the best. Then you can come learn with me, learn with my staff, learn how to do this shit the right way, become a solutions provider, and get so damn good that nobody can ignore you. Hope you made it all the way through my rant. Sometimes I use bad words, but that's okay. Appreciate you guys listening to the show, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you want help on the path to being able to double your income, all while working 50% less and being taken seriously as a healthcare provider, I have some great resources for you. Number one, get access to our free training modules and introduction to my system, the Peak Method. Number two, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Soft Tissue Revolution. Links to all of this can be found in the show notes. Lastly, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with others that you know it could help.